I voted for him because he was the more capable candidate, Liam. Elara's voice, calm and even, cut through the hushed tension of the boardroom like a shard of ice. My heart, a moment ago thrumming with nervous anticipation, felt as if it had been impaled on those words. Capable. Was that what she thought of me? Less capable? I tried to steady my voice, a tremor threatening to break through. Elara, I'm your boyfriend. He's your ex. Her gaze, usually so warm when it met mine, was now cool and distant, reflecting the polished table. My personal life doesn't factor into professional decisions. This is the workplace, Liam. Merit alone dictates my choice. The air left my lungs. Not a pause, not a flicker of hesitation. Just stark, unyielding logic. I stood there, reeling, the carefully constructed world we'd built crumbling around me. Without another word, I turned on my heel, walked out of that room, and later that day, submitted my resignation. The phone in my pocket vibrated incessantly during my flight out of Havenport. Elara's name flashing repeatedly, each unanswered call a fading echo of a past I was determined to leave behind. Back at the company, rumors about Elara and Reese had become the main course in the break room. I'd pretend to be absorbed in my phone, but their hushed whispers still reached me. Word is, she's still not over him. Inside scoop, the boss and her ex are definitely rekindling things. I'd scoff inwardly. Rumors always start like this, don't they? Elara and I had been together for 2 years, a secret affair known only to us. Just last night, we'd shared a bed. How could she possibly be falling back into old habits? I carried my lukewarm latte back to my desk, only to find Finn, my cubicle neighbor, still holding court. I heard his name is Reese. Apparently, he's joining our department this month. Can you believe it? My hand, reaching for my mouse, froze. Reese. The name was a faint, unsettling chime in my memory. A year ago, Elara, disoriented from a celebratory night, had murmured a name in her sleep, a name I couldn't quite place, but one that now resonated with an ominous clarity. Reese. Finn nudged me. Hey, what do you think? Elara and Reese, an old flame rekindled? My head spun, the hazy memory of that whispered name sharpening into focus. Reese. The indistinct sound from that night now seemed clearer than ever. I shook my head, forcing myself to concentrate on my work. When quitting time arrived, Elara also left. Our eyes met briefly, a cold, detached glance, as if we were perfect strangers. At work, we maintained an elaborate charade of non-acquaintance, a deception so convincing no one had ever suspected our relationship. Now, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. We stepped into the elevator together. In that confined space, the woman I'd held in my arms just hours ago felt like a different person entirely. When we first started dating, she would blush furiously in crowded places, her heart racing. Over time, she'd mastered a veneer of cool composure, an enigmatic aura that kept everyone guessing. The elevator chimed, stopping at the ground floor. She walked out without a backward glance, her steps deliberate, unhurried. When others were around, we never exchanged a single word. She just walked straight ahead, decisive, without hesitation. In that moment, I felt an unbridgeable chasm opening between us. Finn pulled on my arm. I really want to know, what kind of man makes someone like Elara fall so hard? I managed a small, non-committal smile. Come on, or we'll miss the train, he chirped, pulling me along. The day I met Reese, he wasn't what I'd expected. Not the arrogant, competitive type I'd imagined, but instead, impeccably polite, composed, and greeted everyone with a disarming smile. It's a pleasure to work with you all. I look forward to learning from your collective wisdom. He even offered a slight bow. Our eyes met. His were bright, sincere, almost childishly innocent, disarming enough to lower anyone's guard. The office fell silent for a few seconds before everyone returned to their tasks. Almost immediately, Stella, Elara's assistant, called Reese away. The moment he left, the internal chat room exploded. Wow, Elara's protecting him already. He just got here, and he's already called to the director's office. Is this how she asserts her authority in the department? I scrolled through the messages, a strange cocktail of frustration, jealousy, and emptiness churning in my stomach. Just as I was about to put my phone away, another notification flashed on the screen. I stood up and walked directly to Elara's office. She sat in her chair, legs crossed, elegant and poised, eyes fixed on a stack of files. "There's a promotion opportunity next month," she said, her voice unruffled. "The assessment will be based on a new project proposal." I nodded slightly. She continued, "The candidates are you and Reese." At the mention of his name, I studied her face, searching for any fleeting emotion, but her expression remained blank, her calmness almost chilling. On my way back to my desk, I received an email from Stella, Elara's assistant, detailing the project. At the same time, Reese sent me a social media request, followed by a direct message. Elara mentioned the promotion. "So we're rivals now, huh? I've seen some of your past proposals. Quite impressive." A faint curve touched my lips. "Oh, thanks." He extended a hand, his eyes crinkling at the corners, his smile so natural it seemed utterly harmless. "Glad to be colleagues." "Me too," I replied, but a thought flickered in my mind. He might already know about Elara and me. For the promotion, I worked sleepless nights, often until dawn. One night, hunched over my monitor, Elara appeared behind me. Her cool, soft voice shattered the silence. "Not planning on sleeping tonight." I stifled a yawn. "Just a little longer." Then, a question popped into my head. I turned to face her. She looked up, her eyes meeting mine. "Are you going to help me at all?" Her expression instantly hardened. The hand resting gently on my shoulder withdrew. She looked straight into my eyes, her voice dropping. "Liam, the company's review process is always fair." I understood her meaning, and a part of me felt relieved. At least this would be a fair competition between Reese and me. I bent back to my proposal. Elara sat beside me, swiftly responding to work messages on her laptop. During a short break, I scrolled through social media to relax. Judging by Reese's posts, he seemed like an upbeat, cheerful person, often sharing videos of cats, dogs, and trivial daily anecdotes. Perhaps I only paid attention to him because he was Elara's ex, but it seemed he was paying attention to me too. He'd just liked a post of mine from a year ago, then quickly unliked it. I looked up, catching Elara's eye. Her gaze was deep and serene, like still water. For a moment, I lost my train of thought, unsure of what I was even thinking. The next morning, arriving at the office, Reese and I coincidentally met at the elevators. We both smiled, but neither spoke. A subtle tension permeated the air. He radiated an unusually strong, vibrant energy. Finn leaned close, whispering in my ear. "Now I get it. Elara likes energetic, lively guys like him, not us. We're the same age, but I feel 10 years older since starting this exhausting job." I often saw Elara and Reese together in the company. The first time I encountered them was in the elevator. It was just the two of them in the enclosed space. Elara leaned against the wall, tall and composed, while Reese held a stack of documents. Seeing them, I froze, hesitant to step in. A bitter knot formed in my throat. Reese turned, smiled, and waved me in. "Liam, come on in." Elara merely glanced at me, her eyes as calm as if she were looking at a stranger, not uttering a single word. I could clearly sense a subtle hostility from Reese, a feeling that he was there with a specific agenda. In that moment, I suddenly wanted to ask Elara a question, one that was choking in my heart. "Do you still consider me your boyfriend?" Finally, Elara's low voice broke the silence. "Not coming in." I stepped into the elevator. Inside, Reese chatted comfortably with Elara, his voice light and natural, making it difficult for anyone else to interject. I stood quietly to the side, listening, feeling as if he was deliberately marking his territory right in front of me. Back at my desk, Finn immediately leaned in. "I just saw Elara and Reese in the lobby elevator. Do you think they're secretly dating or up to something shady? Maybe even rekindling an old flame?" I slowly turned, offering a weak smile. "You should throw away those romance novels, Finn. If Elara knew you were gossiping like this, you'd probably be the first one fired." Finn muttered under his breath, "She's not that petty. Can't a guy imagine a little?" A moment later, Reese returned to the office, followed by several delivery staff. He smiled brightly. "Pastries from Elara for the whole department. Everyone's been working hard." Immediately, the department's chat group exploded. Everyone's eyes were glued to him, curious and full of implied meaning. "Oh my God, are we about to have the company's first junior boss?" "Haha, exactly. The future first lady must be Elara. And this is Mr. Reese bringing pastries for the department?" The boss's ex-boyfriend is truly blessed. These pastries look fancy. Must be $50 each. I just saw them together in the elevator, just the two of them. Reese approached, offering me a box of pastries. These are for you, he said naturally. I quietly replied, thanks. That afternoon, it started to rain. I thought about texting Elara, it's raining, I want to walk home with you. But when I looked up, I saw two figures standing outside. Elara, tall and slender, holding an umbrella tilted toward Reese. A pang of bitterness flared in my chest. I looked down and deleted the message I had just typed. Not long after, an image appeared in the chat group. Elara and Reese walking side by side in the rain, sharing a single umbrella. Beautiful, like a scene from a movie, someone commented. Messages flooded in, full of exclamations, and I felt a sharp needle prick my heart. Their black car quickly drove away, just as my summoned taxi arrived. When I got home, Elara wasn't there yet. A moment later, she walked in, the ends of her hair still damp, her left shoulder wet with rain. I merely glanced at her, then turned away. She softly asked, "What did you text me earlier?" I took a sip of water, my voice calm. Nothing. Sent it to the wrong person. After her shower, she emerged, wrapped in a thin bathrobe, its sash loosely tied around her waist, outlining her figure beneath the fabric. Warmth wafted in the air as she approached, her cool fingers lightly touching my hand. I immediately recoiled, trying to remain calm. I just remembered I haven't finished my proposal. I'm going back to my study. A slow softening came into her eyes, but the corners of her lips still curved faintly, a half-smile lingering. According to protocol, each person was to email their proposal directly to senior management. Management would then forward it to department heads for evaluation, and a final vote would decide the promotion. Employees could choose to vote anonymously or publicly. I had been with this company for 3 years, understood every process, every detail. I was confident I would be chosen, but then the result appeared in my inbox. Dear Mr. Liam, we regret to inform you that you have not been selected for this promotion opportunity. Please do not be discouraged, and thank you for 3 years of dedication to the corporation. Reading that, my mind went blank. For 3 years, I had transformed from a green employee to someone who could handle the most challenging tasks. Yet, my 3 years amounted to nothing compared to his 1 month. My nose stung, and my eyes burned. I quickly looked around, then wiped away the tears that had just begun to fall. In my years with Elara, there were times when I felt tired and disheartened with work, wanting nothing more than to hold her tight, bury my head in her shoulder, and unburden my heart. I knew it wouldn't solve anything, but at least I believed she would understand me. I just wanted to vent my frustrations, to lament a little, just to feel sorry for myself. I had seen Reese's presentation. He had even sent it to me, asking for my feedback. I had pointed out that the content didn't align with the theme and wasn't suitable for Viridian Innovation's philosophy. Undeniably, Reese was capable, but he had only been here for a month. In terms of experience, he couldn't possibly rank above me. I restrained myself from storming into Elara's office. I waited until I got home. News was already flooding the company chat. I was sure Liam would win. Can't believe he lost to Reese. Heard Elara cast the deciding vote. When I read that line, my eyes blurred, burning, and I just wanted to burst into tears. Finn messaged me privately, trying to console me. Even if he is the boss's future husband, he can't just steal your position like that. If he's already the future CEO's spouse, why not just give him the director position? Making you compete with him is just too much. I wiped my tears, typing back with a forced smile. I'm fine. But when Elara walked into the apartment, my tears couldn't be held back. She had witnessed all those sleepless nights I spent on the proposal. Many times, she woke up in the middle of the night, only to find me still in my study, the desk lamp casting its light on my tired face. My voice trembled, heavy with emotion. Elara, why didn't you vote for me? She looked at me, her eyes calm like a still lake, then replied succinctly, because his proposal was better than yours. The pain in my chest felt like it would tear me apart. I looked at her, my voice catching. But he's your ex-boyfriend, and I'm your current boyfriend. Her eyes darkened, devoid of any discernible emotion. Every word she uttered was clear and cold. Liam, because he was more capable than you, and furthermore, I don't play favorites. Even if we have a romantic relationship, this is the workplace. Here, everything is based on merit. I stared at her, our eyes locked, and in that moment, I realized the woman I had slept beside for 2 years was never truly the person I understood. Elara, I whispered, you never liked me, not even a little, did you? Rumors about her and Reese continued to spread throughout the company, buzzing with a life of their own. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Let's break up. Her usual calm expression faltered, a fleeting look of panic crossing her face for the first time. She grabbed my hand. Liam, calm down. I pulled my hand away and stormed out of the apartment. My phone vibrated incessantly. Elara called nonstop, but I rejected all calls. The next day, I saw Elara and Reese again in the elevator lobby. Rumors about them had now permeated the entire office. I stood outside, watching them from a distance. Reese chuckled softly, calling out, Liam. Just then, the adjacent elevator opened. I turned and stepped in without a word. As Elara hurried out, my elevator door closed, leaving only a narrow gap. I looked at her through the crack, offering a faint smile. Her eyebrows subtly furrowed. When I reached my desk, Elara had followed me in. Her body was rigid, her eyes cold. She stood before my desk for a long time without speaking. I stood up, my voice calm. Director Elara, do you need anything? Her gaze locked onto mine. Into my office. I replied softly, yes. She walked a few steps, then turned back to look at me. Aren't you coming? I didn't want to be alone with her, nor did I want to stand with her in the same elevator. I forced a smile. You go first, Director Elara. She paused for a moment, then turned and left. A little later, in her office, she looked at me, her voice serious. Liam, Reese's proposal was superior to yours in every aspect, from design to creative concept. You should accept this defeat gracefully. I nodded slightly. I understand, Director Elara. But what pained me wasn't her judgment, but the ambiguous relationship between her and Reese, the blurry boundary that made me feel so uneasy. Everyone in the company was whispering that Elara was trying to get back with her ex. A bitter taste caught in my throat, spreading through my chest. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. She took a shallow breath, as if wanting to say something, but stopped. Finally, a few words escaped her lips. Liam, he truly is very capable. I clenched my fists until my knuckles turned white. As I walked past Stella's office, I heard them discussing Reese's proposal. I stopped to listen. It was indeed a very good proposal, but the more I listened, the stranger and more familiar it felt. Every idea, every layout, even the PowerPoint template, was identical to the first draft I had written. An image flashed through my mind. Reese had stolen my proposal. I turned and walked quickly back towards Elara's office. Director Elara, I demand to review the surveillance footage and for a re-evaluation to be conducted. I pulled out my original draft and placed it on her desk. The proposal Reese submitted is a copy of my design. A faint, disbelieving smile touched her lips, a hint of disappointment in her slightly downcast eyes. She shook her head softly, her voice calm to the point of cruelty. Liam, you lost, that's it. Don't get so emotional, and don't make false accusations out of resentment. I chuckled, a hint of anger in my voice. You mean you think I'm slandering him? She didn't reply, but her expression said it all. A cold current ran down my spine. Returning to my desk, I felt as if I was in a room filled with icy air. Though the air conditioning was on as usual, my body shivered intermittently. Amidst the murmurs of colleagues around me, I overheard a few whispers. I heard Elara and Reese started a business together years ago. They went through a lot of hardships together. That's probably why she trusts him so much. Each word felt like another knife twisting in my heart. Everything Elara did today pointed to one thing, her absolute trust in him. During lunch break, I opened my laptop and started searching for a new apartment. I scheduled viewings with an agent and quickly found a suitable place. When I returned to the office that afternoon, Finn said, Director Elara just came looking for you. I pretended not to hear him, continuing my work until almost quitting time. When I looked up, Elara was standing before my desk. I was sitting, lost in thought, staring at a job offer email from another company. Her tall, slender shadow blocked the overhead light. I looked up, my voice tinged with suspicion. Director Elara, is there something you need? She mouthed words silently, but I could read them. I'll drive you home. I found it ironic. In 2 years of dating, This was the first time she'd offered to drive me home. But cruelly, it happened when we were at odds. And more importantly, we had already broken up. I needed to make that clear, and I certainly didn't want colleagues to know about our relationship. We had loved in secret, so we could break up in silence too. I glanced around, then quickly walked out and slipped into her car. Elara frowned. Did you just rob a bank? I quickly closed the car door. No, I just didn't want anyone to see and misunderstand. Her eyes sharpened, her voice icy. Liam, I'm your girlfriend. I gave a hollow laugh. Girlfriend? We broke up yesterday, did you forget? If you need me to, I can remind you again. She was silent for a few seconds, then softly said, Don't be like this. The corner of her lips curved, a vague smile, as if she didn't believe I was serious. I looked directly into her long, cold eyes, my voice firm. Elara, I'm not joking. In the end, I still returned to the apartment with her. Just as I started packing my belongings, her phone rang. Her eyes lingered on me. I was kneeling on the floor, looking up, meeting her gaze. There was worry in her eyes, mixed with a hint of hesitation. After answering the phone, she said briefly, I have to go out for a bit. When Elara left, I breathed a sigh of relief. I slowly packed my clothes and personal documents. Looking around the apartment, I realized the place, once painted in cold gray tones, was now adorned with bright items, pastel-colored cushions, a few small picture frames. Even the plants I had grown on the balcony had been replaced with new, vibrant, lush ones. There were many small things everywhere, but I only took my clothes and documents. The rest were worthless. Objects could be bought again, but a heart could not. Just as I finished packing, a notification popped up on my phone from Finn. Party starts now. Here's the address. I called a moving service to my new rented apartment, then took a taxi to the address he sent. It was a newly opened bar, not exactly luxurious, but very lively. Outside, there was a pool and an outdoor party. Colleagues from several other departments were there, all friendly and cheerful, the atmosphere buzzing with laughter. Finn suddenly leaned close to my ear, exclaiming, Wait, isn't that Elara? Our hero has come to save the day. His voice was a little loud, causing everyone around to turn and look. I looked up, scanning in the direction he pointed. Someone asked, Where? Where? Finn pointed towards the bar counter. I followed his gaze. Elara had her back to us, her hand gently placed on Reese's shoulder, softly patting him. She said something very quietly, just loud enough for him to hear. It's okay. An excited colleague cheered. Quick, take a picture. I told you, those two are getting back together. Look, she's clearly defending him. Finn sighed, shaking his head. I've been at the company for 3 years. This is the first time I've seen her like this, openly standing by someone she cares about in a crowd. My heart trembled slightly. Just then, Elara looked up, her eyes meeting mine directly. In her dark pupils, a fleeting panic flashed. Her usually calm face stiffened for a moment, bewilderment clearly visible in her gaze. I pressed my lips together and offered a faint smile. Only a few meters separated us, but a dense crowd thronged between us. She started walking towards me, trying to push through the people, her eyes never leaving mine for a second, but the crowd was too thick, slowing her movement. I turned to Finn, and together we quietly slipped away. When I looked back, I still saw Elara frantically pushing through people, a hint of panic on her face. Back at my new rented apartment, I opened my laptop and replied to the job offer email. I accepted the position. Less than a minute later, a response email arrived. Dear Mr. Liam, welcome to our team. Before I went to sleep, the company chat group exploded again. Has everyone seen Reese's new post? Those two really are getting back together. The old flame burns bright again. Now we know director Elara's type. Warm, gentle, mild-mannered guys like him. I opened Reese's social media. He had just posted a series of throwbacks about Elara during college. An 18-year-old Elara, running across the city on a snowy New Year's Eve just to buy him his favorite cake. A 19-year-old Elara, when he had acute stomach pains, abandoning her rich girl facade to personally cook him porridge, feed him medicine, and stay up all night caring for him. A 20-year-old Elara, willing to skip classes to be with him. A 21-year-old Elara, daring to give up her inheritance to start a business with him. But in the end, her family never accepted him. And Reese, unable to resist the temptation of money, chose to leave her, abandoning her alone. And I, in 2 years with Elara, was never even publicly acknowledged as her boyfriend. Yet, Reese had once been introduced to everyone as the man she loved with her entire youth. I closed his social media page. My phone suddenly rang incessantly, one call after another. It was Elara. I was about to decline, but she called again immediately. I tried to resist blocking her number. After all, she was still my direct superior. I picked up. Her voice, slightly shaky, mixed with a hint of urgency. "You're not home? The closet is empty. I don't recall you having any business trips recently." I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice calm. "I've moved out. I've left." Elara's voice trembled slightly. "What about your other things?" I replied curtly. "I don't need them. You can throw them all away." Hearing that, Elara's heart pounded, a strange sense of unease washing over her. My words, "I've moved out," had deeply shaken her. When she had first arrived home and seen all my belongings still in their usual places, she had felt a momentary relief. But when she couldn't find me and my phone went unanswered, real panic set in. When she opened the closet and the bedside table drawers, finding my clothes and personal documents gone, Elara was utterly distraught. I had submitted my resignation, my last day of work being 1 month from then. My resignation letter was in the same stack of documents Reese had submitted, and Elara had signed it without bothering to look up, without hesitation, without a pause. In previous meetings, I would often watch her, my gaze, back then, betraying an admiration, a love that anyone could recognize. But today, I only kept my head down, taking notes in my notebook, occasionally chatting with a colleague next to me. I didn't look at her once. When I unconsciously looked up, my eyes met hers. In those eyes, I no longer saw love, no lingering affection, only the cold gaze reserved for a stranger. For the first time, Elara lost her focus in a meeting. I quickly turned away, not flustered, not evasive, because it was just a fleeting, accidental glance. But she watched me for a long time. The employees sitting below also noticed her distraction. Their eyes followed hers one by one. They saw her looking at me, her gaze mingled with loss, fear, and worry. Until Stella softly called, "Director Elara," and she started, pulling herself back to reality. After the meeting, Finn draped an arm around my shoulder, whispering in my ear, "Hey, why was Elara staring at you like that? Her eyes were so weird." I chuckled, giving a curt reply. "You must be mistaken. Isn't Reese sitting right next to us?" Finn shrugged, dismissing it, and pulled me towards the office. Just then, a voice called from behind us. "Liam." I froze, slowly turning. Elara stood there, her lips moving silently. Into my office. Finn's eyes widened. I subtly motioned for him to go ahead. In her office, she looked at me without speaking, her gaze so cold and deep it made my skin prickle. I spoke first. "Director Elara, is there something you need?" She asked, her voice small but with a hint of urgency. "Are you still angry? You didn't look at me once during the meeting." Her words carried a touch of hurt, making me give a slight, sarcastic laugh. "Angry? What do I have to be angry about? We broke up, and why should I look at you during a meeting? Are you performing a concert?" She stiffened, her voice catching. "I didn't mean it that way." I replied coolly. "If there's nothing else, I'll return to my work." I turned my back and walked out. When I got back to my desk, my phone showed a message from her. "I will drive you home after work." I didn't reply. I didn't think she would actually do it, much less believe she would dare to openly be with me in broad daylight right in the company building. But when quitting time arrived, Elara really did appear in my department. She stood tall and poised, right in front of my desk. When our eyes met, I paused slightly. Her long, deep, and calm eyes were still the same. Her voice, not loud, not soft, but clear in every beat. "Let's go home." A bad premonition flashed through me. The entire department simultaneously turned to look, their curious, surprised, and meaningful gazes converging on us. I frowned, leaning in to whisper to her, "Are you crazy?" Then I looked up, speaking in a normal tone, trying to appear natural. "Director Elara, Reese isn't here." She raised an eyebrow, a strange, tender, deep look flashing in her eyes, as if containing something difficult to say. "I came to pick up my boyfriend. I came to pick up Liam." Seeing the stunned expressions of everyone around, I could only manage a forced smile, my lips rigid. Elara, we broke up. I never thought she would publicize our relationship in this way, in front of so many colleagues. But now it no longer mattered. I quickly left the office. Elara immediately ran after me, grabbing my hand tightly, pulling me back to face her. I snatched my hand away, my eyes cold. Elara. Hearing me call her name, she froze. My voice carried a coldness that felt like a knife cutting into her heart. Her brows furrowed even deeper. I looked at the woman in front of me, suddenly feeling utterly exhausted. You played with my feelings while being ambiguous with Reese. Was that fun for you? I tried to keep my voice calm. She lowered her head, her eyelashes trembling slightly. We broke up. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I'm leaving, Director Elara. She stood motionless, while I turned away without a second's hesitation, but she continued to chase me, this time all the way to the lobby of the building where I rented my new apartment. Her face showed a hint of panic, her voice trembling. Liam, there's nothing between Reese and me. I chuckled faintly. The whole company is saying you two are getting back together. I saw you defend him with my own eyes, even getting physical for him. You pushed me out of a promotion opportunity to protect him. You didn't believe he stole my design. She quickly explained, her voice soft but urgent. You know me, I never cheat at work. I wouldn't promote him just because he's an ex, and I wouldn't favor you just because you're my boyfriend. I curled my lip, a clear sarcastic smile appearing. Elara, the entire company is buzzing with rumors that you and he are reuniting. Everyone says you're chasing your ex. As your boyfriend, I had to listen to people gossip every day about how perfect you two were together. You don't understand that feeling of humiliation. I was your boyfriend, yet you were willing to publicly stand by him. My voice caught as I spoke. Honestly, I never blamed you for voting for him. If I lost fairly, I would accept it. But you weren't fair. You held an umbrella for him in the rain, and even drove him home. You ordered afternoon tea for the entire department, then let him distribute pastries in your name just to boost his ego. When I said he stole my ideas, you didn't believe me. As a girlfriend, you failed. Elara's voice choked, her breath trembling. Because that was his umbrella, and I didn't intentionally drive him home. He left documents in my car. I couldn't let him walk in the rain. And that afternoon tea, all departments received it. I didn't know he used my name to distribute it. And at the bar, if any other employee had been in trouble, I would have stepped in. I promise it won't happen again. She spoke truly, every word carrying sincerity, yet the vague boundaries she set made it easy for others to cross them. Only with me were those boundaries always clear, coldly indifferent. 2 years together, and no one ever knew about our relationship. The sky gradually darkened, and light rain began to fall. I stepped inside, pulling the iron gate closed. Through the bars, I looked at her, speaking slowly, word by word. It's raining, Director Elara. You should go home. A message from Finn arrived immediately after. You and Elara really dated? You two kept it so well hidden. I'm sorry for what I said before. I didn't know you two were a couple. I read it with a sad smile. I couldn't blame anyone for misunderstanding. Even I, all that time, had believed Elara hadn't forgotten Reese. It's okay, I messaged back. We broke up. It's over now. The next day, arriving at the company, no one mentioned Elara and Reese anymore. Reese walked past me, his eyes bright, without malice, yet I still felt something strange, like an unspoken distance. He was moving his belongings into the director's private office. The department was throwing a promotion party for him, but it was also my last day of work, so I didn't attend. When quitting time arrived, my contract was officially terminated. Finn said he didn't want to go to the party either. I smiled, advising him, he's your superior now, after all. You should go, at least to leave a good impression. I left the company, sending a short message to my parents. I quit. Today was my last day. That evening, when I returned to my rented apartment, Finn messaged, Elara came. She's looking for you. But I didn't turn back. My flight departed that night. I left Havenport without hesitation, without looking back. My next destination was Kenya, Africa, where I had always dreamed of witnessing the Great Migration on the Masai Mara. As soon as I landed, my phone was immediately filled with missed calls and messages from Elara. Where are you? Liam, don't be silent anymore. I'm reinvestigating the proposal matter. I didn't reply. I joined a tour group, rested for a day, Then began my journey of discovery. In the Masai Mara Reserve, I witnessed millions of wildebeest crossing the river, creating an incredibly majestic sight. I sat in an open-top SUV, watching lions leisurely pass by. They weren't afraid of people, nor did they show aggression. I stayed in Kenya for almost 2 months, observing the grasslands gradually change from green to pale yellow as the dry season arrived. On the day I left, I sent Finn some souvenirs and a letter, along with a few photos. Cell phone reception there was weak. I barely went online. Only when preparing for my next destination did I post something on social media. As soon as I landed at my new destination, Finn immediately messaged, "Elara saw your post. She flew to Kenya to find you." But by then, I had already flown to the Aquiluna archipelago. Leaving the Aquiluna archipelago, I sent more photos and a letter to Finn, along with another post. And this time, Elara flew after me again. But by the time she arrived, I was already on a flight to Iceland. In Iceland, as night enveloped the land and the aurora borealis began to emerge, I stood amidst the vast white expanse of ice, looking up at the sky. A streak of green light sliced across the night, shimmering and pulsating like a glowing ribbon in the void. It was a perfect moment until I turned around. Elara stood behind me, her eyes red and moist, her eyelashes trembling slightly. Her shoulders gently shook, tears silently streaming down her cheeks. She called softly, her voice hoarse and trembling. "Liam." I smiled, the serene smile of someone who had let go of everything. She continued, her voice slightly shaky. "Hearing you call me Elara feels strange." I gently raised an eyebrow. "So, should I call you Director Elara?" But I quit. In that moment, I realized that when you truly let go, you no longer care about the small things. I no longer hated her, no longer resented her. Everything was just an experience, a segment of memory, nothing more. Her eyes were redder, her lash line wet. We both spoke at once. "Why are you here?" "I miss you." Her words made both of us freeze, the air chilling, only the sound of the wind. Then she softly continued, "Reese was fired. He was originally an employee transferred from another branch. I didn't directly hire him. I didn't even know he would be in our department until he appeared. He really did plagiarize your proposal. The company investigated and confirmed it. On behalf of the company and personally, I formally invite you to return." I shook my head without hesitation. "No need, Elara. I don't want to go back. There are no memorable experiences there. I just want to start anew." I looked up at the sky, where the aurora still danced, pale green light slowly drifting across the night. After a moment of silence, she softly said again, "Liam, I'm sorry. Can you give me another chance?" I turned back, frowning, my voice weary. "You're really loud, you know that? I just want to quietly watch the aurora." The irritation in my voice made Elara stop. The words, "You're really loud," cut deep into her chest like a sharp knife. Her eyelashes trembled, her lips slightly pressed together. The moment she saw my back, even a fleeting glance, she had noticed how much weight I had lost. The feeling of finding what she had lost filled her heart with joy and regret. But for me, everything had changed. After that trip, I rested for a while, then started working for a new company, a direct competitor to Viridian Innovations, where Elara was still a director. 3 years ago, I would never have accepted an offer from a place like that because I loved her, and I didn't want to stand on the opposite side. I only wanted to be by her side, whether in work or in life. But it was from her that I learned one thing. A man should pursue better opportunities for himself, not for a woman. And becoming Elara's rival sounded truly exciting. Initially, she didn't know I had joined the new company. When she found out, Elara started actively reaching out, trying to reconnect. But I refused every single time. The last time, I told her a lot. "Elara, I think loving you was a mistake. It was from the very beginning. I never cared about whether I got promoted or not. What I cared about was that the person I loved didn't stand by me. You chose to believe him. When I said he plagiarized my design, your first reaction wasn't to doubt him, but to see me as a bitter loser. You don't know how humiliating it felt, as your boyfriend, to hear colleagues talk every day about how you and Reese were getting back together. We were never public, so I couldn't even speak up to deny it. I had no right. Back then, I heard 100 times more than you feel now." Elara closed her eyes, tears spilling from the corners. When she opened them, her eyelashes still trembled slightly, her voice catching. "I'm sorry. I didn't publicize our relationship because I was scared. I was afraid that one day you would also leave me for money. I was afraid you loved me for my status and power, not for me. But now, I wish you truly loved me for those things. Because I've realized, for you, I'm willing to give up everything." I just smiled, saying nothing more. 3 years later, I met Elara again. We stood opposite each other in a brightly lit conference room. I was representing my company, and she, Viridian Innovations. I had grown stronger, more successful, and my life was in its most brilliant phase. Elara looked at me, her eyes distant, as if traveling back in time to the past. A slow smile appeared on her lips. "Liam," someone in the room spoke, breaking the tense atmosphere. "How wonderful, so Director Elara and Mr. Liam knew each other." I gave a faint, calm smile. "I don't think we've met." Elara, who had just been about to speak, immediately fell silent, her lips pressed together, her eyes red-rimmed. And in that reunion, we were merely two strangers.